What's up, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Rob. I like to play games, and welcome back to the Commander Corner. Today we're going to be taking a look at a new commander from the upcoming Marvel set, and this is one I think you are all going to enjoy. So let's dive right in and look at Kang, Temporal Tyrant. Kang is an uncommon from the new set, and honestly, I think this card is going to turn some heads. I think he's got some really cool abilities to build around, and I kind of wanted to showcase him here today with the new Marvel set coming out in just a couple of weeks. So, what does Kang Temporal Tyrant do? 2 of anything, blue-black, so he's a Daimir commander. 3/4, whenever he attacks, connives, which allows you to draw a card, then discard a card. If you discarded a non-land card, you put a +1/+1 counter on Kang. Pretty cool. He gets big and can swing out for some lethal damage later in the game. What else can he do? Well, when you draw your second card each turn, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. So that kind of gives us a pretty straightforward time frame of what we're looking to do. We're looking to draw extra cards. We're looking to burn out the table. And with Kang, if you've ever read a Marvel comic or know who Kang is the master of the multiverse. So I wanted to go thematically with that and build this kind of as a clone deck. So we're looking to copy and clone a whole bunch of stuff to overwhelm our opponents and eventually steal the win. It's a bit more of a controlling shell here, but let's go over some of the key cards here. Obviously, we've got a really large copy and clone package. We are using Mirror Box to make it so that the legend rule does not apply to our Kang, as well as Mirror Gallery. Just ways to make it so that when we play more Kangs, he's going to stay out there and he's going to more or less continue to burn out the table with each of our draws. We're also using things like C-Double, Rite of Replication, Phyrexian Metamorph, Quasi-Duplicate. Again, I filled this thing with as many clone effects that were within our budget to assist with that. We've also got a burn package here consisting of Nadir's Nightblade, Feast of Sanity, Gataxian Puppeteer, Mirkwood Bats, as well as Psychosis Crawler. Again, things that are going to enable us to continue to burn out the table. Can we win by combat? Absolutely. Kang gives us that option. However, with all of the tokens we're going to be creating, with all of the cards we're going to be drawing, I wanted to emphasize that as our true win condition. We do have a couple other nice token generators as well that help us with this theme. Emerald's Messenger makes an Eldrazi spawn whenever we draw our second card a turn. Cool, that's what we're looking to do anyways. Chasm Skulker gets bigger whenever we draw a card, and then when he eventually dies, because your opponent is not going to let this stick around, he creates X 1/1 blue squid creature tokens, where X is the number of counters on him. So again, fills up our board with more blockers. Another new card here, Construct the Cosmic Cube. Whenever you draw your second card each turn, create a 2/1 black villain creature token. When the 7th plan counter is put on this enchantment, sacrifice it. When you do, you control target opponent during their next turn. So again, Kang manipulates the timelines. He implants himself throughout all of history, and what better way to help us with that than taking your opponent's turn for them. We're also running Min Wily Illusionist. Whenever you draw your second card each turn, create a 1/1 blue illusion with it gets +1/+0 for each other illusion you control. And whenever an illusion you control dies, you may put a permanent card with mana value less than or equal to that creature's power from your hand onto the battlefield. This includes lands, by the way. I don't know if a lot of you know that, but you can put lands into play with Min. Really great. We're also running Alondra Skydreamer. Whenever you draw your second card, make a Drake, and if you draw your 5th card, her and Drakes you control get +X until end of turn, where X is the number of cards in your hand. Just another way to kind of close out games if we need to. And then probably one of my favorite cards from Foundries, Homunculus Horde. Whenever you draw your second card each turn, create a token that's a copy of this creature. It's the Blue Scoot Swarm, and I've always loved this card. I really wish there was more support for it, because I would love to play it more, because it's absolutely fantastic. Some of the other key cards we're running here, we're running some decent ramp with our Currency Converter, Dark Ritual, Soul Ring, Arcane Signet, Daimir Signet, Mind Stone, Talisman of Dominance, Thought Vessel. Another new card, Baron Strucker from Hydra Overlord. Villain spells cost 1 less. Kang's a villain. It's going to help there. A lot of the cards we're running are villains. And then whenever a villain you control enters, you may have it connive. Again, triggering our second draw there each turn. Tombstone also allows us to return a villain from our graveyard to your hand and makes them cheaper. Removal package is pretty straightforward. Offer you can't refuse, Arcane Denial, Feed the Swarm. Broken Concentration was one that I put in here simply because it has the Madness effect on it. This easily could become something else. Daimir Doppelganger, again, exiles target creature card from a graveyard and then it becomes a copy of it. I'm putting it in the removal package simply because it's graveyard hate and removal. And then another one I think that kind of gets overlooked in these style of decks is Archfiend of Ifnir. It's a 5-mana 5/4 flying. Whenever you cycle or discard a card, put a -1/-1 counter on each creature your opponents control. We're going to be conniving a lot in this deck, which means we're drawing and discarding. This is going to help us kind of clear the way for our massive army. We're also using Wonder in this deck to give all of our creatures flying. And then, if necessary, we do have one extra turn spell in Kang the Conqueror. I felt this was thematic. Why not use the big boy Kang himself? 4 mana, 4/5 flying power up for 8 mana. Put a +1/+1 counter on Kang. Take an extra turn after this turn. During that turn, power up abilities can't be activated. Power up is a new mechanic in the new Marvel set. You can play it once while the creature's in play. So if you flicker it, you can do it again, obviously. But in the way it works is if you do it the turn the creature comes into play, you reduce the power-up cost by the mana cost of the creature that you're playing. So essentially, if we play Kang, late game, it's turn 8. We play Kang, and then we can do the power-up ability right away. We don't have to wait a turn or anything like that. We can just do it. So really nice there. We are also running Kang Prime. This one's going to come from the structure deck for the villains in the Marvel set. When it enters or attacks, exile cards off the top of your library until you exile a non-land card. Put 2 time counters on it. If it doesn't have suspend, it gains it. Honestly, I just wanted to put more Kangs in this deck to kind of just help with that. We're also running Leader from the new set. If a creature you control would connive, instead you draw a card, then that creature connives. So this essentially is 2 cards, and then at beginning of combat on your turn, target creature you can control connives, giving us more of that draw power to get those pings off with Kang. We're also running Frantic Search to untap, Ledger Shredder, and Fairy Mastermind. These are great. They're going to allow us to draw cards on our opponent's turn, triggering Kang once more, which is even better. Unstable Experiment, target player draws a card, then up to 1 target creature you control connives, again allowing us to trigger Kang during our opponent's turn. Great card there. And same thing with Prowler. Whenever another villain you control enters, Prowler connives. Lots of just reoccurring draw effects here to allow us to not only do these things on our opponent's turn, but as well as on our turn, so that we guarantee we're getting that second card draw each and every turn. Lastly, I kind of want to point out here Psychosis Crawler. Its power and toughness are each equal to the number of cards in your hand, but the main thing here is whenever you draw a card, each opponent loses 1 life. So this is all the time. It's going to be on. It's probably going to get hated out, but it's not a legendary, so it's a perfect target for a lot of our clone effects if we don't get the mirror effects, if we don't get like Irenicus's Vile Duplication to make a non-legendary copy of Kang. Which is really going to be nice there. And then obviously we run things like Windfall. Each player discards their hand, draws equal to the greatest number of cards a player discarded this way. It's going to just trigger all kinds of stuff for us, which is absolutely wonderful. Let's get into a quick play test so you guys can kind of see how this goes, and then we will go over the maybe board where I've got some more powerful cards that are a little bit more on the pricey side that I want you all to see. Alright, and here we are into our playtester. Honestly, not that bad from what I'm seeing here, so let's take a look and keep it going. So we're going to start... Oh, we got a Morphic Pool. I like that. So Morphic Pool is going to come into play. Nothing that turn. Again, we're more of a control-y deck anyway, so that's fine. We'll play Catacombs, and we'll play Mindstone. We'll do a little bit of ramping here, because we kind of want to get to what we're looking to do fast. Shipwreck Marsh. So now we can go blue-black, play Kang, play there, and we really don't have any, like, clone effects just yet, I believe. Discards their hand, then draws equal to the greatest number of cards that a player discarded this way. Cool, it's another one of those, which is great. We like that. Nothing's really in our graveyard for Tombstone. You know what? We're playing Kang. We'll play Kang. And so the new Kang allows us to enter exile cards until we exile a non-land card. Cool. Spark Double. Spark Double comes out. It's got Tomb Time counters on it. And then we will attack with our normal Kang, which will allow us to connive. So draw, that's our second draw this turn. And then we will discard. Let's actually target villain. I don't really have a villain in our hand. But let's discard Evil Twin. Burn the table, we gain a life. Alright. Next turn, this goes down by 1. We'll play a land. And you know what? I want a new hand. So we're going to discard our hand. Oops, not that. 2, 3, 4, and let's just say someone had 5 cards in their hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Cool. We've triggered Kang. We get to do that. This gets to cipher onto something, so why don't we just cipher it onto Kang? So we can do it again if we want. Let's do a Soul Ring. And let's see. We play land for turn. We did. We don't really have anything going on there, so we'll just attack again. We'll draw. Oh, by the way, he's got a +1/+1 counter. And this time we don't really care about the +1/+1 counter, but we'll draw there. Next turn, boom. Spark Double comes in as a copy of Kang. Spark Double, though, is great because it comes as a copy. You control additional +1/+1 counter on it. It enters with an additional loyalty counter if it's a planeswalker, and it's not legendary. So now we've got 2 Kangs. Even better. What's better than 1 Kang? 2. Yeah, we all know that. You know what? And 3. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, and 4. Duplication. Let's make another Kang. Oh, and this one's not legendary, is it? It's another Kang, and you can kind of just see how this kind of balls out of control. It's turn 6. We've got 4 Kangs now, and every time we draw a card, our second card each turn, we're going to just start doing crazy stuff. So that's kind of how the deck's going to play. Just making multitudes of Kang tokens once we are able to copy non-legendary versions of him or get the mirror box in play. And then we're just going to go crazy that way. Let's get back to the deck and kind of show you some other cards that we're looking at. Alright, here we are. Let's go over our maybe board. These are going to be the more expensive cards that you may want to add to your deck. Things that don't quite fit into the budget that I like to hold myself at for this show. But they are definitely premier cards that do really well. Also, if you like my content, please comment, like, subscribe, all that jazz. I'm trying to do like a mid-roll thing here. So let's go from there. I'm trying to get more subscribers. I want to hit 500 by the end of the year. And so that is my goal. And it starts with your subscription. So I appreciate you guys' support. So let's take a look at that maybe board and some high-powered cards to add here. First off, we've got Otawara, Soaring City. I don't think this one needs much of an explanation. It's a utility land. Channel is insanely hard to counter and allows us to return target artifact, creature, or enchantment or planeswalker to its owner's hand. Costs 1 less to activate for each legendary creature you control. We're looking to make clones of legendaries. Really powerful. Shizo's Death Storehouse. On that same token, we want to make sure that our creatures do get in and can deal combat damage without risking death. This land allows us to give target legendary creature fear until end of turn, so it can only be blocked by black creatures and artifact creatures. Again, great utility land, a little bit more on the pricey side, which is why it's not in the original list. Monument to Endurance. I almost made this a mandatory card, but chose not to because I wanted to keep the list, again, budget friendly for all of you. 3 mana artifact. Whenever you discard a card, we seem to be doing a lot of that. Choose one that hasn't been chosen. Draw a card, create a treasure token. Each opponent loses 3 life. This is the trifecta. It does all 3 things we want. We draw cards. Cool, that's our second draw each turn. Each opponent loses 3 life. Cool, we're looking to win through burn damage or clone effects. Awesome. Create a treasure token. Ramp. Who doesn't like ramp? I mean, it is literally one of the best cards we could put in this deck, and something that I really feel should be one of the first inclusions if you want to build this deck. Sakashima of 1,000 Faces. This is another one. Sakashima needs very little explanation. It's a 4-mana clone that clones without the legend rule. Again, that's exactly the style that we're looking to do. We want to copy things and not worry about if it's legendary or not. We want to make as many Kangs as humanly possible, or Psychosis Crawlers, you know, and Sakashima really just helps with that. His price tag's a little high, and I understand why it is. He is a very solid commander, with partner. He's very popular in, you know, more competitive formats, so definitely worth the price tag, but would be a huge inclusion in this deck that I feel if you've got the money for it or you've got one laying around, definitely look at picking that up if you're looking to build this deck. Bone Miser, this is another kind of expensive one. He's a 5-mana 4/4. Whenever you discard a creature card, create a zombie token. Whenever you discard a land, make 2 black. And whenever you discard a non-creature, non-land, draw a card. Again, just like the Monument, does everything we're looking to do. Gives us blockers when we discard creatures, gives us ramp when we discard lands, and gives us more card draw when we discard something that's neither of those. Really solid inclusion. He's a bit pricey, you know. I don't even think, if we look at the original printing, the original printing's a little bit better, but he has had a couple of special guest appearances in like some secret layers and stuff, so might be worth looking into if it's something that you're interested in. Another card I feel is really strong for this. And then lastly, we've got one more card. This one's from the Doctor Who set. We're looking at Quantum Misalignment. It's 5 mana, create a token that's a copy of target creature you control, except it isn't legendary. What are we looking to copy? Yeah, Kangs. So really strong there. And then it has Rebound. If you cast the spell from your hand, exile it as it resolves. At the beginning of your next upkeep, you may cast this card from exile without paying its mana cost. So for 5 mana, we get to make 2 Kangs over 2 turns. Seems good, gives us everything we're looking to do there. I was actually shocked that this card is as expensive as it is, but you know, it appears that some of the Doctor Who cards are starting to see a bit more relevance and play, and this obviously is one of them that people are paying attention to. So with that, I do want to wrap things up here and thank you all for watching, and I do hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Please go ahead, like, comment, subscribe, all that wonderful stuff there. Your support means everything to me. The deck list for this will be posted in the description for Architect, as well as you can find me in the Jungle Games Entertainment Discord. Link to that will also be there. Stay tuned until Wednesday when we're going to do another pre-con party. From there, hopefully, if the new Marvel decks have been released, I'll be looking to do that. Otherwise, we've got something already cooked up and ready to go. But until next time, my name is Rob. I like to play games, and I hope you all have a great weekend. Take care, everybody.